Howdy, football fans. I'll forgive you if you think you've stumbled onto Virginia Tech Hokie football coach Brent Pry after his embarrassing, humiliating, just utterly unforgivable loss to the Old Dominion Monarchs tonight. Yeah, they were only a 6 to 8.5 point favorite, but that loss was about as bad as it gets because no one expected the Old Dominion to win, and in the ugliest game you'll ever watch. Plus, he just looked like one of the wet bandits chasing Kevin McAllister. This guy was lost from the word go, so yeah, I think the best investment somebody can make right now is buying the domain www.firebrentpry.com. You, trust me, go buy it, you'll thank me later. Anyways, congratulations to Old Dominion Monarchs. Nice win for them, but it's going to be a tough year for the Hokies fans, it looked like. You know when Justin Fuente is starting to look good, it's not a good night for you. Not good at all. But I hear he's available, so maybe they can call him back and see what he's up to. But anyway, if I were Brent Pry, I wouldn't be wearing a mask with stars on it, indicating that yes, I am a superstar. I would be wearing a bag, indicating not just a bag, a Target bag, because he's going to be a target very soon by those Hokies fans. Anyways, let's jump into this. And you may be wondering, why is a grown man on my screen wearing a referee shirt and a mask? And there's a good reason for that. I'm the most wanted man in Las Vegas. My winning percentage is unmatched. It's impeccable. It's almost perfect. So I've had to go in hiding into this spider hole. And who knows, this may be the only video I make if they catch me, because there's people out there who would like to do me harm. I'm talking about emotional harm, physical harm, spiritual harm. There's people that would really like to even hurt my feelings because I have won so much money in Vegas that I'm a wanted man. So I've had to go into hiding. If I disappear, it was nice knowing you. Tell my kids I love them. Anyway, let's jump into the picks this week. Very intriguing week. Usually these first full week of games has a really lack of intriguing matchups, but that is not the case this week. We'll start with number 7, Utah at Florida. Now this is a very intriguing matchup for me. Utah is actually a 2.5 point favorite, which a lot of people think is not wide enough spread, given the fact that Florida has a new coach, Billy Napier, and they had a big struggling season last year, while Kyle Whittingham's team is consistently a very top performing team. But that all goes out the window. I think Anthony Richardson, fantastic athlete, one of the better quarterbacks you're going to see. Plus, this one comes down to, frankly, Utah just doesn't play in the SEC. I'm sorry. Let's be honest with you. So I'm going with Florida and to win this game outright. I think they win it at home in the Swamp. I feel like I'm seeing 24-21. It's not going to be a very high scoring game. With Utah being a 2.5 point favorite, I'm saying go with Florida, and also the over and under is 51.5 right now. I'm going with the under in that one. Moving right along to Troy versus Mississippi. Now, why am I covering this game? Well, because I want to, for first and foremost. Also, because Lane Kiffin, he's a handsome man. He's charismatic. We got to talk about this guy, right? Anyway, Ole Miss obviously going to win this game. It's just how bad. I see a score like 48-13. They will score at will. And I see the spread right now is about 21.5 points for Ole Miss. They will definitely cover that one, and they will go over the 57 points in this game. Moving on to Utah State versus Alabama, another game where there's no possible mystery to the outcome. It's Alabama's going to win. It's just how much. They are right now a 41.5 point favorite, which is absolutely low to me. I feel like they'll just blast this team to kingdom come, and the over and under is 63 points. I see 61-6. I feel like that barely puts it over the over. I'm kind of on the fence either way on that one, but I'm leaning toward the over. Alabama will cover this 41.5 points. One matchup I'm really intrigued by is this Florida State versus LSU on Sunday night at the Superdome. Now, right now LSU is listed as a 3-point favorite, and that is Brian Kelly's debut as the LSU coach. He's taking on Florida State's Mike Norvell, who I think is a very mediocre coach. They are 1-0, but I see LSU covering this one pretty easily. The over and under is 49.5. I think this will be under. I think it'll be a low scoring battle back and forth, but I do see LSU coming out with a W, and I do believe Brian Kelly may have a case for Coach of the Year this year. He's just that good. Anyway, moving on to Oregon versus Georgia. Well, this is an intriguing matchup to say the least. Number 11 Oregon versus number 3 Georgia. You got Stetson Bennett versus Bo Nix. They've already played before. Bo Nix 0-2 against Stetson Bennett when he was the quarterback at Auburn. We've got Oregon with a new coach, Dan Lanning, who actually was the defensive coordinator for Georgia prior to becoming Oregon's head coach. Georgia, last year's national champions, of course, they lost 15 players into the NFL draft, and 5 of those guys went in the first round. So they took a major hit as far as talent-wise, but they just reload down there. I don't see this one being a problem. You got Oregon is 16-point underdogs, though. That just seems awfully high to me. It'll be high scoring. I think it goes over the 54 points. But I do see Georgia winning this one fairly comfortably, but not 16 points comfortably. I see it 38-24, that type of score in this game. Another top 25 matchup that I'm really intrigued by is number 23 Cincinnati Bearcats versus the number 19 Arkansas Razorbacks. I was really surprised to see that Arkansas is a 6.5-point favorite. I find that very suspicious because I personally am not a big fan of Coach Sam Pittman. He's 12-11 the last couple of years. He just strikes me as just a meh coach. He's actually the Houston Nutt of 2022. He'll win a few that he should win. He'll lose a few that he shouldn't lose. And that's just who he is. And I think this is another case of that. I'm a big believer of Luke Fickell and the Cincinnati Bearcats. They're 22-2 the last couple of years. Fickell has a very great coaching mind. I think they go in. I think they beat Arkansas outright in this game. And I also think the score is 53.5. I think it'll be under on that one. I think this will be a little bit more of a defensive struggle. Alrighty, we'll get into the last couple of picks, and one of them is the Memphis Tigers versus the Mississippi State Bulldogs. And there's a long history between these two teams dating back to the Jackie Sherrill days. And if you don't remember Jackie Sherrill, who I love, by the way, he once castrated a bull to motivate his team. And I think that was a great educational thing. It was a great motivational thing. They came out, they beat the Texas Longhorns in an upset. Kudos to Coach Jackie Sherrill. But once upon a time, he and Coach Tommy West, who was head coach of Memphis at the time, had an altercation after a football game where it looks like they might even end up throwing blows at each other. It didn't happen, but there's been a long back and forth history between these two teams. Last year, a lot of controversy in the officiating, and then, of course, the 94-yard punt return that ended up saving the day for the Memphis Tigers. So, Coach Mike Leach will have revenge on his mind. I think he gets it for sure. I don't think they cover the 16.5-point spread, though, but I do believe they cover the 57.5-point over-under in this one. I'm a big Mike Leach fan. I think that he is an underrated coach, and I think he'll have a much better season than a lot of people expect here. Now, I also love the quarterback Will Rogers, who reminds me of the old days Will Rogers and the famous quote he had that I love. Too many people spend money they haven't earned to buy things they don't want to impress people they don't like. Good sound advice. But anyway, I see Mississippi State winning this one 44-39. I think it'll be another close game, but I do see Mississippi State pulling it out this year. And finally, we got Notre Dame versus Ohio State. Now, I am not a big fan of either team. I've never been less intrigued by a top 5 matchup in my life, so I don't really care about this game. But I do see Ohio State winning. I don't think it'll be quite as big. I don't think they'll cover that 16-point spread. I think it'll be a little bit closer than that, but I do see Ohio State winning this game, and I think it'll be a little over the 59.5-point spread, and they will keep Coach Marcus Freeman from getting his first win as the coach of Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So, on that note, we are out of time.